Hey everybody, this is Asher with the Viewer's Choice series for Starsector, a great space game where you go around, explore planets, and fight in spaceships. A lot like Mountain Blade Warband, but in space, and honestly it's something that I prefer a little bit more. We're going to be doing a new game. We're going to be going through, we're going to see if we can go kind of all the way down here, and I'm not going to be playing Iron Man because things are a problem. This is a slightly modified version of the game because I decided to install one of the facepack mods. There is a really great modding community for this game, and there is a lot of stuff available. If I was smart before this, I would have actually picked like a good picture for myself and been like, hey, I want to do this picture. But I think I'm just going to go down a little bit and just find something that kind of works. Like there, that's fine. The old grizzled captain here that we'll call Asher Wells. Which, if you're unfamiliar with where that name comes from, it's an old ZZT game, Chrono Wars, which had 10 parts in a series at least, and that was back in the AOL days. And ZZT, if you're not familiar with, is I think Epic Games' or Epic Mega Games back then first released, but we're looking at Starsector today. So, how you start out here, you have a few different options to actually start, and we could be just a tiny little ship by ourselves, but we're going to choose a slightly faster start. If you did watch the Free Play Friday video, we did the Apogee class start, which I should have realized it said Apogee right there. That is one of my favorite ships. But for starting out, we're going to start with a Hammerhead because that makes things go a little bit smoother, a little bit faster. You can do fine with a Wolf-class frigate and a Wayfarer-class combat freighter, but that makes some of the tutorial missions a little bit irritating if you are going to go through the tutorial, which we are today, but we're going to kind of speed through it a little bit more. So we get a Hammerhead-class destroyer, a Drover-class light carrier. Drovers are awesome. A Centurion heavy frigate, which is okay. A Lasher-class frigate, a Dram carrier, and we get 18,000 money. We're going to play this on normal. And we're going to start with the tutorial just because we can. So what happens here in the world generation is that you can see we're going from January, but we're actually going to be starting in March, which is nice because it just means that since I'm posting this video in March now, we're kind of just looking a few hundred years into the future. And we're going to kind of talk about the game and its story in context as we go, but long story short is that we are in a section of space, and you may be familiar with this motif, that has been cut off from the rest of humanity and has kind of gone to shit. So that's really the junction here. But welcome to the sector. Your fleet is in the middle of nowhere and on low supplies. So one thing we need to do is to scavenge the supplies, which is very simple. We click to go. You got to hold the left mouse button to go. And then we're going to go up here and push 6 to scavenge supplies. Now, if we do this more than once, we can have some problems. And honestly, this little barrier is not going to give us a whole bunch. We can do take all. I'm going to be using a lot of keyboard hotkeys here just because that's simple. But it's okay. So March 3rd, cycle 206, and now we're going to get in our first fight where a pirate fleet is coming. And one of the fun parts about this, you're going to see the difference between the Apogee and the Hammerhead real fast. Hammerhead is a great starter ship because it can blast things really like fast from the front. A little bit easier to aim than the Apogee, so I think the Hammerhead, it has a lot of advantages. Its weapons are a lot easier to obtain as well. But here is Persia Dodd, who said the pirate ship maneuvers to prevent you from disengaging easily. And they say, you're just a bruiser come to do the hegemony or hegemony. I've been pronouncing that wrong and reading it wrong. Been saying homogeny all this time. Dirty work, we'll get over it. We cut the comm link, we're going to fight. Yeah, we're going to move into engage. We're not going to transfer command. And how the combat works in this, we have different units that we can deploy. I'm just going to select all because that makes it easier. We do not want to engage with the Dram carrier. And then we have our priest set up here. Now, there are a bunch of little hotkey commands over here. We will take advantage of them sometimes, but all I'm going to do for now is to order these ships by clicking on them with the left click and then right clicking them onto me. So I want all of them AI controlled ships, all of them AI controlled ships. Look at my diction here today, to follow me on the Hammerhead. So here's the Hammerhead in all its glory. It's got some front-facing missiles. It got some front-facing blasters. And this little solo pirate is not going to know what hit her. Or maybe she will. Okay, we're going to press 2 to just fire the missiles. And you can see that I'm actually getting some flux damage as well. So you can right-click to bring up shields. Our carriers are really going to do a lot of work here. And yeah, we blew it up. I'm going to press V to vent flux for fun. Flux is an important thing that we're going to have to manage really hard with the Hammerhead instead of the Apogee. We got a lot of salvage here. We actually got some Vulcan cannons and a light assault gun, which is useful because we're going to have to buy some stuff later. Now we're using a little bit more supply. That's because anytime we fight, we have to use supply to repair. So when you see minus 13 a day down on the bottom left, don't freak out too much. That just means that your ships are in the process of repairing, which is what you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do the character class thing here. If you watch Free Play Friday, I kind of screwed this up a little bit. I could press 3 here to go ahead and do that, but we're not. Because what you do is you click here and click there, and you can do up to 1 rank here. You have to put levels over here to be able to put levels over here. So two of the first things we're going to go for is the level 2 fleet logistics, which will give us minus 25% maintenance. And later, when we make a colony somewhere, we'll actually get plus accessibility, which is pretty important. And then we're going to do one over here, which navigation we want level 3 of, because eventually it gives us a max burn level, but also nice enough, it also reduces our fuel consumption. So those are finite supplies that we're constantly going to need to be fighting for. Supplies and fuel. But now that we've got a message, is brief and ask you to travel to the contact station on Patagonia as soon as possible. So we're going to lay a course in here now. I like pressing tab to do this. So this is one of the hegemony's worlds. I'm not going to get used to saying that. If you hold left click, you can just lay in a course and it will autopilot. This is going to take a while, so the tutorial is going to tell us that we can do a faster burn here, which doubles the speed. But I'm going to take a quick look at our ships just because we're here right now. I should be doing this in the refit menu. This is the Hammerhead. It has heavy mortars, which I might want to upgrade. I'm using 20 vents and still like getting a ton of flux when I fire, which is fine. Point defense lasers on the side, railguns on the top, harpoon medium range missiles, which are one of my favorites. And we get 4, it takes 4 ordnance points. They come with 3 ammo, so limited ammo. All of these ships kind of start with some problems, though. This one has a compromised hull. We can technically repair it, but it's usually better economically if you just find a new ship. We're not ending the game with the Hammerhead. Eventually, these will be kind of some of our support light ships. But it does have expanded missile racks, which means we actually have more missiles available to us, which is great. Blast doors for better defense, an integrated targeting unit, which extends the range of ballistic and energy weapons. Look at that. So that's pretty good. The Drover is one of the first good ship carriers that you can get. We're going to get a Condor as well in a little bit, which is another good one. But the nice start about this is that you get a Dagger Bomber, which these are little drones that go over and drop bombs on enemies. They're really strong. So what they do is they drop a torpedo and then they fly back and get another torpedo. And then we have the Broadsword Heavy Fighter, which just pretty much goes pew 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 and flies around, launches flares, interferes with point defenses. So pretty much these synergize with these. It's cute that we have the low tech and high tech. Low tech versus high tech doesn't necessarily mean that something's better or worse. We're paused. So it wants us to actually fly faster, which is fine. Press 5. You're going to get used to flying faster here. So we zoom out here and we impacted with the warp bubble on an asteroid that's now flying over there. Whoops. Technically, when NASA sends missions through the asteroid belt, they don't calculate for asteroids because they're so wide apart that ships don't fly into them. But we are getting into closer to Ansira, which is controlled by the Hegemony, a major militaristic faction. Sorry for the cough there. But when in Hegemony space, a fleet is required by law to identify itself by having a transponder on. There are different factions in this game, and they have their own special rules. Some more so than others. Some factions have rules that have no rules. But one of the really nice things here, if we just take a pause for a moment to look around, we do have a relay here, which these are the kind of things that you can build on colonies. Galatia, you have G2 type star, which has some information. But if we look at some of the like specific planet stuff, especially for the way this is a randomly generated world, but the core systems in Starsector are generally the same. So there's always going to be like some story planets right here, like we have in Sierra, the research facility. It's a bastion of civilian research in hegemony space, and prestigious post sought by graduates of the few remaining universities of the core worlds. The chancellorship is a post outside a military hierarchy emblematic of the nominally independent executive directive of the institution. It's a 5-star danger. Technically, when we get stronger, we could potentially try to attack the hegemony and try to shoot down this orbital station, but it's not a good idea right now at all. Meanwhile, Ansira, a dry and old world with a sluggish magnetic field, partially stripped by volatils by the solar wind. This is evidence that this was once a world covered by shallow, warm seas, bleached dunes of salt, and towers and bridges of uniquely crystallized silica, and a few briny aquifers tapped and exploited by human settlers. So, we're here, but should we have come? It's Ansira. We open the comms directory. We actually have a military officer that we can recruit here. So let's talk to Hector Fourth. And this is how we're going to go a lot of this game. If you played like Kenshi or Mountain Blade, you're going to be used to going around and trying to recruit people. He's steady. He's a strike commander level 2. That's actually really good. Over here, there's some perks that you do want. This affects specifically how they will fly their ship. Steady means they're not going to be phased or like trying to run away from stuff. We do have oh wow, he's actually really cheap. 2,000 credit hiring bonuses, 600 per month. Yes, please. So we hired Lieutenant Hector 4th instead of Hector 3rd. We have a freelance administrator as well. We're not going to worry about Iskander Gentry because we don't have an administrators for planet colonies, and we're not there at all. Athena Patagonia. So, what do you say here? Ah, you've come. Excellent. As you're well aware recently. Well, I suppose we could skip that part. No, we're going to do the refresher here. And you can see that last time we were doing Free Play Friday, it was like always an old person. But with the mod here, the pictures changed, so we'll figure it out. But the dialogue is going to be the same from before. Let's get a refresher, and this is just for the people who are new to Starsector here. We've been running experiments on the dormant gate in the system, trying to connect it back to the domain's gate network. Promising experiments, or so we thought, until an energy pulse we expected would get a response from the gate, destabilize the jump points leading to the system, cutting us off from the rest of the sector. It's rather like how the sector is cut off from the domain, huh? Writ small, the stars have a sense of irony, do they not? The miners of Derniku Station, which I just mispronounced, that Starry Miners, which is also located in the system and was operating near a subsistence level, were hit the hardest. They turned to piracy, intercepting one of the last food shipments to come in, out of desperation, no doubt. But there were deaths, and they'll put themselves well outside of the law. Their leaders know that if the jump points are stabilized and the system is once again part of the sector, they can look forward to a life sentence of penal colony at absolute best. All because they're fighting for food because you guys screwed up. Well done. So how do we fit in here? The miners turned pirate are guarding the jump points, preventing us from gathering recent readings and coming up with a way to stabilize them. We do have a security detachment that can handle their forces, but they're tied up defending the planet here. The pirates are too much for you to take on, but fortunately you don't have to. We've got an agent at the station who is able to gain access to recent sensor readings from the ships guarding the jump points, but they have not been able to get a long-range comm array to send the data to us. That's where you come in. Head to the station and retrieve the data from our agent, then return here. Why me, or what's in it for me? We're going to say why me, just because it's fun here. Why not? I'm not exactly spoiled for choices, and you've shown some ability to handle difficulties. It's not going to be a milk run, that's for sure. So we actually have a few different tiers of relationship here. One is with Athena Patagonia, the person. So we're at 2 for neutral right here, and then we have a relationship +1 with the hegemony. I'm gonna be fighting how to pronounce that for at least a little while. So reputation is very important in this game because it affects if ships are hostile on sight when they see you, as well as you can sometimes get better missions if you have a better reputation. One of the best ways to get reputation is building missions or running missions. And unlike Star Traders Frontiers, typically if you run a mission, unless it's directly against another faction, it's not going to give you a penalty for the other faction. So it's not like Star Traders Frontiers, where if the hegemony and like tri-tach, who we'll run into later, who hate each other, doing favors for one is not going to penalize with the other, generally, but not always. So what's the plan? First off, make sure to turn off your transponder once you lock. I've instructed the security detachment not to give you any trouble about that, and if you're lucky, the pirates may even think you're one of their own and let you approach the station without any trouble. Still, it makes sense to go dark as you get closer to make sure they can't get too good of a look at your fleet. So if they do notice me, then you're in trouble. Activate emergency burn to get out of there, lose them, and come back around and try again. And if you haven't played this before, if you get caught by the pirates here, it is a tough fight, even with starting with the Hammerhead. Don't e-burn unless you really need to, though. It's hard on your ship's supplies. So, we have a quest. That quest is to stabilize the jump point. We don't have a ton of money yet, but we do have some things that are available here. We can potentially buy off the black market. Actually kind of want to buy those broadswords right now, but they cost way too much. So that would be like all of our money. Yeah, dual flat cannons. Arbalest autocannons are actually really nice. So I don't know if I want to buy those yet either. But they are nice. They will be there. I don't want to get harassed by these people who say I'm allowed to turn off my transponder. Which I'll do that right now. So you can see on the little mini map up here, and we can autopilot to the station, although it's a terrible idea. Also, these little pink things here, these are jump points. These will take you to main space, but the story part of the tutorial is that these are turned off right now. So we're going to kind of go in over here, go dark, which you see we're flying really, really slowly. We can salvage while dark, so every little bit helps. We can sell that metal for money. Which is pretty good. But we get a little bit of experience for that as well. There is another spaceship around here somewhere. I should probably be coming in from the asteroids to see, but we made it! Hooray! Open the comm relay. Oh, we have quartermaster, boss, and postmaster, or portmaster. That's a little different. So you contact the agent, exchange passphrases to verify each other's identities. The agent transmits the data file with recent raw sensor readings of the unstable jump points. So, this is, there's no like on-ground missions or anything. It's all literally confined to space or dealing with space stations. We can go to the dockside bar. You can see it's a rowdy, happy bunch. Hire crew, buy supplies. I still find it hilarious that the pirates have their own black market, but they may have some better stuff here, like an assault chain gun. That's good, but I don't know if my Hammerhead can handle it. The Thumper's probably better. The assault chain gun, the problem with that is that it's 60 flux per shot, and that adds up really fast. The Thumper is probably a little more doable, so let's get a Thumper. Because these weren't being sold at the other one. Let's get 4 Thumpers for reasons I'll tell you later. Typhoon rocket launcher, limited ammo 5. Is this the medium one? Yeah, nice. Typhoons are really good too, if that's not the one that I already have. But let's see. 4,000. We're gonna buy all of you. And Arbalest autocannon's fine. Flat cannon's fine. We actually probably need a few point defense lasers. Piranha low-tech. Talon LPC low-tech. Heavy armor mod specs are good. Makeshift shield generators, not as good. So we'll get these. We're not going to buy too many of those because we'll be able to find some of these later. But I'm going to buy... you see, I'm kind of buying myself out of money. We're going to sell our metals here. So we did a bunch of business on the black market with pirates that we're supposed to be fighting against, but that's fun. There's a sort button. I went really far in this game without realizing there was a sort button. So these are materials we're going to need for later. But for now, we're just going to go. And there's our other pirate fleet. I could e-burn out of here, but fortunately they did not try to engage with us. And we can go from a dark burn to a sustained burn. So they're trying to see, who are you? We're still not good enough to fight them. And transponder back on, so see you later, suckers. And everything kind of will do an orbital swirl around the area. So planets will move around. You can see that things are in a different location now. We actually failed and lost some crew. Whoops. Yeah, that's another thing I'm going to have to pay attention to, because with the Apogee, you start with a lot of crew. But with what I have right now, I am going to need to pick up some crew, and I'll probably do it here. I should have done it with the pirates. But open the comm relay, and we got Athena here. There's a chime in the background, and she looks at you concerned. Is there a problem? Yes, the system estimates it'll take about a cycle to analyze the data and come up with a stabilization algorithm. Naturally, by then, the data would be out of date, and any algorithm based on it is meaningless. If we had an AI core on hand, we could analyze the data more quickly. Fortunately, there's a survey probe somewhere in the system, one left over from the initial exploration of the sector by the domain. It should have at least an AI core system in its brain. Well, where is it, and why hasn't it been salvaged before? To answer the second question, domain artifacts are usually protected by automated defenses that still function to this day. And and this probe is no exception, and the hegemony generally forbids civilian interference with domain artifacts plus AIs, for the sake of public safety, of course. Desperate times, however. As to where it is, my data indicates it is somewhere beyond the orbit of Pontus. Get there and head beyond the asteroid and use a sensor burst to get it. So let's go ahead, since we're here, let's sell our metals. See, the reason that I do a lot of purchasing on the black market is because, okay, how much money do you cost? This crew is pretty cheap, but anytime I like buy stuff, it is going to cost an additional tariff. So we don't want to deal with tariffs too much, but we do want additional crew. The crew capacity is a little too much here, so let's actually get rid of 10 of you. Glad I caught that ahead of time. Get rid of 2 more of you. Alright, so we're officially at 360 crew for 360 crew. Alright. All on the up and up. You can look at the black market all you want. We can look at all these recreational drugs. They have all kinds of food being sold on the black market. That tells you about what you need to know about the situation here. But yeah, another thing that we can do while we're here is well, we're gonna undock and do it from here. All we gotta do is right click, and this will learn the mod spec that will teach us how to better have armor. Fortunately, because we didn't buy from the black market there, the hegemony is not going to come after us. But if we look over here, here's Pontus. We just lay in a course for it. You don't want to lay in a course that's going to take you automatically through a star, because the game will autopilot, and if you fly too close to a star, unlike Dyson Sphere program, you do take damage. So here is a gas giant, which you can fly over. I mean, you're not flying through it technically, you're just flying over around it. Oh wait, no, you can. You have a full survey here. If we try to establish a colony, which you can colonize gas giants, it's not a great idea unless you really need like volatiles, which are important resources. But it's not going to be a happy place. But there we go. It's a nice little happy ring system, which is all very good. And there is what we need. But just for story purposes, we're going to activate our sensor burst wherever it is. There we go. So domain era probe. Let's read this real quick. An example of one of the countless thousands of robot somethings. Robot probe ships sent out to the galaxy by the domain to find new resources and exploit planets to colonize and explore the unknown. Some of the variants are produced by automated motherships. The specimen appears to be inactive, pitted by small impacts. Its hull displays iridescence from some fearsome radiation scarring. The probe's manufacture date could well be 1,000 cycles ago. I assume cycles are Earth years, but it might not be. So we can explore it, and we have automated defenses. These guys are pushovers. We're not going to transfer a command. However, I do have a unit. I do have a person that I need to put on a ship, and I haven't yet. But we'll do that in a minute, because the tutorial is going to give us a good reason to do that. Now, if I don't touch any buttons right here, I will automatically fly up. So you can actually, if you want to, set things to autopilot. But I kind of like taking command. All right, so here is here's our ship, and you can see these kinetic weapons. I've got to like guide the ship here a little bit. We have point defense lasers as well. Switch to 2 because missiles are fun. Oh wow, they actually you see they fired point defense to scatter the missiles. I have things that are automatically firing. But there we go. Look, my people are not useless, helping me out. But there's a lot of dynamics in the game for things that you can have to pay attention to here. But we got an AI core. Only 1 this time, not 2 like before. So we won't get a bonus cash injection to sell stuff. But we get 3,000 experience, and we begin to salvage. Oh wait, so we got an AI core from there. So we did get a bonus. Nice. We can sell that on the black market for some extra money. Okay, and if we want to try to salvage this again, it's likely something will be there, but there's a significant risk. We're going to avoid that for now. Alright, so let's just go ahead and autopilot back here. Now, I will say, for this video, I am going to be going through and finishing out the tutorial, which is kind of unlike what I did on the Free Play Friday before. But we're going to be trying to build this up just a little bit stronger, better, faster. Let's go ahead and get 2 in leadership here. We will want to get our combat stuff, but one of the reasons I like the Hammerhead start is because we don't have to... our ship's going to be able to handle itself really well. But there's going to be a little more stuff that we can do. In terms of this series, my goal is to kind of make videos in between 30 minutes to an hour chunks at a time, just because that helps with processing and stuff. But if sometimes a video makes us go longer, it just makes us go longer, and that's not a big deal. But let's go to the comm directory. Look at us, we have an AI. We lost 1 gamma core, but look, we improved our relationship even more and gained some more money. I'll send you the stabilization algorithm. When the core works it up, once you have it, it should be a simple matter of running and using the fleet's drive field as a means of interacting with the jump point. However, there's still a matter of the miners guarding both the jump points out of the system. And you said their forces are significant? Well, it's all relative. Our security attachment can handle them easily, but as I've mentioned, it's tied down defending this place. Well, why don't you just send it over for a minute? Your fleet, on the other hand, you might be able to handle them with some stellar piloting and a bit of luck, but it's not best to take some chances, especially when there's an alternative. And there's a ship graveyard near Tetra, ships that were deemed not worth the effort to restore awaiting bulk transit, but now they'll serve our needs. So we're just gonna go ahead and salvage, because salvaging is one of my favorite parts of this game. Like, there are some times where you're just flying through the system and you find a ship that's just floating out in space that no one has touched, and it is a great way to, like, the only requirements that you have is literally you find it. Now, eventually you may have to, like, buy more crew or deal with more supplies or something, but yeah, if you find a ship and it's not claimed by anybody, it's finders keepers. That, on top of the fact that sometimes you can get ships that will literally just, you kill them from your enemy and then you take them for your own. But we have a derelict frigate, and these are all things that you want them to do well, but some of these ships are going to work. Like we have a derelict Hammerhead. This one always will recover, so you will get a Hammerhead out here. It does have 2 penalties to it. Compromised hull and increased maintenance, which is a little annoying. But this is why we got more crew, because we are going to be taking most of the ships that we find. And yeah, we're low on combat resources, I know. So this is a Condor. This is another great drone carrier. So that's good. And now the fleet doesn't have enough personnel to fully crew. But you see, we'll get back to... When we get back home, we'll see. But now we have enough beds for our crew to stay on. We do want the second dram tanker. Eventually, one of the first things we're going to buy is a bigger dram tanker. But that's good for now. It's April! Alright, there's a wolf. Wolves are fun. You can start with just a wolf. It'll teach you a lot about how to pilot, because the wolf has a blink ability. And then there is a tiny shuttle. We'll recover it as well, because why not? The AI does better with it than I do, and that one's probably just going to be salvage. Alright. And then if we go up here, we have a Buffalo-class destroyer, which unfortunately we can't get because Buffalo are cool. Buffalo are fantastic, amazing creatures. But now we have salvaged the ships, which makes us happy. And we can go back to the planet, and we're going to do our final prep for the final fight of the tutorial area. And then we'll talk a little bit about what we need to do next, following up with that. So if we go up here, this is our same arid world. We could actually, there's different shops at the research station. But if we go up here, she says, welcome back, a bunch of rust buckets, but put some weapons on and a proper refit done will make it useful. So speaking of weapons, okay, so she says a lot of stuff. Yeah, just about to talk to you about that. Not much to buy in the open market, but we have some stores. I've already ordered local storage space to be assigned to you, so we do have local storage, and we can do some auto-fit stuff as well. And we have the stabilization algorithm as well. Good luck to you. If you fail, well, we'll have to send the security force to do the job, and that could get very messy. So pretty much, they don't want us to have to do stuff for them, or they don't want to have to risk their own butts. Isn't that a familiar story here? So we're going to sell on the black market. We're going to sell you, and we're going to sell our stacks of metal, because that's literally just resources. We have 88 crew. And you see, now we have 777 beds, but we need 395 crew. It's a good idea to get a little more crew than you need, especially if you think you're going to run into other ships later. So this is fine. Anything else that we want here? Well, we don't have to buy it this way, to be honest. First off, we are going to need some supplies. That's a lot of money for supplies, but that's fine because we're selling a lot of stuff to get a lot of stuff. And now someone's going to look at our ships and be like, hold up, you weigh differently than when you came in and when you left. It's like, no reason, we totally didn't do anything wrong. So first off, now that we have some other ships, let's actually look at the fleet menu here first. One way you want to organize this is by putting your ships kind of up here, the ones that you really want to have good things happen with, like good battle things. We actually have a pretty good battle group here. So let's hear, what are your skills? You're ready to level up. You have damage control and impact mitigation, so you might be a good brawler. And when you level up here, we can do lots of things here. I actually really want target analysis. That's a good one here. And then you're steady. You're a strike commander. So we want him on a carrier ship. We have two. We have our Dram, which has some really strong stuff, and we have our our Condor down here. So we're gonna put this person on the Dram, and we're gonna put you on the Hammerhead, and we're gonna keep myself over here. So refit time, because our ships are gonna be trying to refit themselves pretty well. So we have heavy mortars right now. Let's switch to the thumpers. You see that I need 9 ordnance points that I don't have. Well, if we take off some vents, what could possibly go wrong? Now, the thing about thumpers is that they have the same range. There are some other stats here. The really nice thing is that they we just go in there and start blasting, and it's all pretty good. But we need to adjust weapon groups. Weapon groups are very important. This is literally key 1, key 2, key 3, key 4, key 5. The point defense laser should automatically be firing. So I don't remember for sure how to set that other than they automatically do it. But it's nice that we have little graphs here. These are always going to be straight on, and these railguns will have a pretty wide range. And then we have the harpoon straight on. So the Hammerhead is a brawler you want to automatically face. Now, I'm going to trust the game to do this for me here, but we're not going to buy from the open market. We're going to put you on, and look at this. We have 16 capacitors, did actual blast doors and flux distributor. We don't need to auto-fit you, really. You're fine. We do need to auto-fit you. So we don't want to buy ordnance from the market, because that takes a lot of money here. But we do have a broadsword and a talon, so that's good enough, and we have some other resources. We have cats looking for other cats outside, so cats meet outside, mail about that. And let's do a close support build. That means it's going to be firing more lasers. It still has a graviton beam on top, so these wolves can hit like super hard, but they're super fragile. But it's still one of my favorite support ships because their special ability in every ship. I don't know if I can look at the information right now. I'm not going to run the simulation for it, but every ship has their own kind of special ability, and the wolves is to teleport. But I do kind of need to just look at the clock here, go ahead and get through the last kind of fight. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's a Lasher class. Close support's fine. And then we don't need to do the Dram. We'll auto-fit you for light. Hooray! Cool. So we're ready for battle. It asks us to quick save, which is very important. And now we're going to fight. And look, we're getting approached by Heather Elysium. Attention, your fleet matches a profile of a suspected smuggler. Well, allow us to scan. Look, we found no contraband. Of course not. We're not going to fight you, but look, you guys could really do us a solid and help us out. So, it's still trying to get us to lay a course over here, because we never actually finished it. So, let's fight over here. I should be able to restore the beacon first. And then we're going to have to chase down some pirates unless they all come after us all of a sudden. 2 hammerheads they probably won't. So we're going to stabilize the jump point. And if I go right here, get set an emergency burn and try to catch them. Maybe. Oh. Why did I not get you? There we go. So here's our fleet, much bigger than theirs. Open a comm link. If a spacer steals food to feed her family, her comrades, they call it piracy. If that makes me a pirate, then I'd rather be a pirate than some poor tools saluting the Phoenix. Well, I can't fight you there, but we are going to pursue them because they're trying to retreat, and we are going to take command of the action. So we could select all these people. That takes a lot of supply. It's fine. It's a big blowout here for the thing here. We're literally on mop-up duty now. So we want the Dram to follow me. We want the Condor to follow you. And then we're just going to... We kind of have 2-point people here. So what... You guys are going to target this. And we have another Hammerhead over here. So let's see who we can get. There's an asteroid. Everybody's trying to sort of zoom out a little bit. You know what, actually, I hate doing this. But our key for toggle fire accelerate, that's... I'll figure that out later. Because one of my abilities is to zoom, zoom, zoom as well. We should be able to catch up with these guys. Because they are trying to run away right now. Nice armor, too bad it ain't worth what? So there we go. Here comes the fight. We can zoom out a little bit as well. So here's our big shot here. I have a lot of cannons available, but I don't want to get too close because once we attract this guy's attention, there's going to be some problems. Shields up. Red alert. You can see my flux is a problem here. My hull's a problem here. I got to back off just a little bit. But fortunately, I'm not taking too much. Okay, I'm taking a little bit of damage now. But this is where I have my support ships. This is kind of the prize. This is the one I really want to take out. So we do have a Cerebus that's retreated. Our hull's not very happy with us right now. So here's our happy little ships here. But once again, we're just going to get in and get out. Our shields are going to hold here. We do have our second Hammerhead going, but we're just going to try to manage our flux, because this ship is way bigger than we are. And it'd be really embarrassing to just die on the first video here. But see, we're about to get their flux full, which means they're going to overload. Oh, they actually purged all theirs, so I got to watch out for that. Their Hammerhead retreated. But see, we're just putting constant pressure on this dude. I can actually friendly fire and hit my people from behind, so I've got to work this out. Yeah, there we go. They're overloaded. This is the time to take them out, and big explosion. Gotta love it. Who's left on the map? Just one Joker over here. So I'll double check how to accelerate next time. That's kind of silly that I forgot how to do that. But now this one poor light ship is gonna maybe retreat, maybe not. But yeah, let me just go ahead and do the closing here while I sign out, because unfortunately, as much as I want to keep playing and keep going, because this is a game that can really suck you in, I do have some commitments that I have to do, as our drones are doing some really good fighter work here. Look at that. And we got a missile coming in place as well. Okay, so the enemy fleet is defeated. We can press escape to end the battle at any time. That's fine. So claim victory. We can let the rest of them run. So our pirate relationship is bad. We can pick through the wreckage. We actually got a lot of good stuff. But yeah, this is Starsector in a nutshell. We fight. We try to survive. But overall, it's a fun game. And we're going to be doing a lot more of this. So what we're going to do next time is we're going to go here. Maybe start off with a mop-up of this other pirate crew if I can get to it. But I kind of need to get my ships repaired first. But otherwise, we are going to venture out, do some missioning, and show you kind of how to build up from the tutorial to the early game. So this is Asher with Starsector. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. I saw a lot of excitement last week in kind of the video analytics for people who want to know more about Starsector. So if you like this video, like Starsector, give it a like. It's not available on Steam, but it is available on the developer's website. It's a really good game. I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing this viewer's choice for you guys. So thanks for watching. We'll do this again soon. Take care.